So Verkline lower control arms, how good are they? But why'd I get rid of them? So, this was originally just going to be my review of the Verkline control arms. If you haven't seen my other video where prior to me installing them, go take a look at that first, where I reviewed the different control arm options for this platform, Verkline being one of them, and I guess in my eyes seen as the pinnacle of the lower control arm game. What I wanted out of them, I did explain in that video. I wanted more control over camber and caster to really get it to exactly where I wanted it, the ability to change it if necessary, and I also wanted more feedback from the front end, which I thought that the tubular construction and the spherical bearings would give me. That was the goal. I always knew that it was risky. I always knew that it could be too much. And it turns out that was the case. It was too much. So let's cut to the chase. They're amazing on track. They did everything that I thought they would. The feedback on the front end is the best it's ever been, and probably the best you can get on this platform. This platform is devoid of feeling on the front axle. It honestly is. It's one of the major, I wouldn't say drawbacks, but limitations, right, of the electric steering rack and the McPherson strut front end. And numbness is put into the system by, you know, sloppy bushings and stuff like that. So I went full hardcore, full race car on that. Tubular, why can't I say that? Spherical bushings. And did the job on the track. But on the road, yeah, not terrible. So let me walk you through the scenario so you've got the full context. Those that know my car would know my setup. So I've got white line strut tops, so they're also solid metal bushings, Bilstein B16s, Audi subframe, upgraded engine mounts, locking collars on the subframe. I've done everything pretty much on the front end to make it as sharp and precise as possible. The last thing I did prior to the LCAs was I had white line LCAs on prior, went to the Verkline. Prior to that, I just put on the B16s. Best thing I've done to the car, I've talked to that already. I just loved driving the car on the road. They just feel fantastic and they're great on the track as well. I've never loved the car more. When I put on the Verkline arms, it's not horrible. Like, they are harsher, of course, and you know, it's harsher over bumps. I found myself, you know, lowering the dampening of the shocks.
70 km/h speed camera ahead.
Thank you. You know, bit by bit to see if it would improve it and reduce the harshness. But what I found was every time I got in the car, I didn't hate it, but I just didn't love it as much as before. I missed that feeling of when I just put the B16s in. And to be honest, I really flip-flopped back and forth for a while as to, you know, would I keep them or would I change them? And it's really interesting what put me over the edge, because to be honest, some days I felt, hey, this isn't that bad. Then other days it's like, oh, you know, you hit a bump and then you hear little noises and creaks that you don't hear normally because of the spherical bushings, and every day was different, so I flip-flopped. The thing that tipped me over the edge, some people may appreciate this, others have no idea what I'm talking about. It was the Drift King. The Drift King, Keiichi Tsuchida, for those that know him. He's what pushed me in one direction. So he I don't know if it's his channel, but there's a channel called Car Prime English on YouTube that I recently stumbled upon. It's been out for a while. Since COVID, it seems everyone in the world is now doing YouTube. So Keiichi is also doing YouTube. Car Prime English. It's all subtitled, and he basically drives around in his cars and other people's cool 90s JDM cars. The cars that we had unlimited access to in the 90s and early 2000s, but that's a story for another day. So something that he said when he was sitting next to the other guy that he hangs out with all the time, that owns the shop, the other racing car driver from Hot Version. Noda? I can't remember. Anyway, they were talking, and he was saying that one of the things he realizes this day, and he was driving in his 8.6, which he's owned like forever and has modified extensively. He said, you know, these days what I've learned is don't strip your interior. Don't go nuts on making everything super stiff and uncomfortable for a car that sees the road and the racetrack. He said that's the thing he's learned over the years. He says when he was young, yeah, full stripped interior, stiffest suspension ever, or chopped springs, didn't care. He's like, as I've matured, I've come to appreciate what driving comfortably is. It was something to that effect. And I was like, God damn it, DK, you are right. I'm 42 years old. I'm not 18 or 20. So it might be fine for others, but why shouldn't I drive comfortably and enjoy my car every single time I get in it? Like, to me, that's what cars should be about. Yeah, the lap times are awesome, and you know, I'll still have fun on the track, and you know, it's not even going to hurt my lap times, right? To be honest. But he was right. Don't go crazy. Advice from the Drift King. So what have I gone to? What have I got in there now? If you saw my other video and the options that I had, one of them was the Audi TT arms. And before I decided to buy the Verkline arms, that was sort of what I was going to go to. And going back again, the reason why I was looking to get out of the white line arms was they were giving me too much positive caster. They have a lot, those arms, and they were the minimal one as well. They give 1.5 degrees caster. That combined with the strut tops, which also give caster, I had like 9 degrees. It was too much. Been destroying the guard liner up the front, and it's not necessary. I honestly think about 8 to 8.5 degrees is about the magic number for this platform. I think 7 to 7.5 is about stock. So I think 8 to 8.5 for a car that sort of sees performance driving, track, canyon, street, whatever, is about right. So that's what I wanted to shoot for. So I purchased some Super Pro bushings to fit into them, offset bushings, which give another 0.5 degree, because I didn't think that the TT arms gave any caster adjustment. They do have the slider for camber, which is awesome. That's a big plus. But as it turned out, so two things transpired. Those Super Pro bushers don't fit in the TT arms, even though it says they're compatible. They don't. They don't press in and stay in. They just fall out. Luckily, I'd thought ahead and I'd secured a backup bush, which is a factory RS3 bush. So it's rubber, but it's solid. No gaps in it. No voids. So stock bush, large voids. Club Sport S and TTS have small voids. RS3, no voids. They are the stiffest of the OEM bushes. I say TTS because I don't know what TTRS has. TTRS may also have the solid ones, but my arms were off a TTS, and most likely it would make sense if the TTRS also had the full solid one, considering it has the same engine as the RS3. Makes a lot of sense. So yeah, the Super Pro wouldn't fit. The RS3 bush went in, no problem at all. And as it turns out, the caster numbers came in at about 8.6, which is exactly like around where I wanted to be. So they must have given caster. And if I had put in those Super Pro, it would have put me back to 9, and I would have been in the same position I was with the Verkline arms. So things just kind of worked out rather well. So I now have super light alloy arms of OEM quality fit into the Audi subframe, which it was always meant to be paired with. Full control over camber. Cast is exactly where I want. I don't need to move it. So honestly, I think it's the ultimate setup. It's brilliant. If you can get yourself a set of TTS arms, and I bought these for about 300 bucks. They're not easy to find because TTs weren't sold in like massive numbers. It's not as popular like a Golf or an S3. But if you can find a set, I would say jump on it. And you could even throw it in with the stock TTS bush. It's still an improvement over the GTI or the R bush. But you could then go to the RS3 solid bush if you wanted a little bit better feedback. And also, people talk about it pushing the wheels out more. Honestly, I don't even notice. They just seem the same to me. I do have a lot of camber. A lot. More than 3 at the minimum adjustment. So I'm all the way at the minimum adjustment, and I have more than 3. I won't say how much more, but a little bit over 3. But that's also because I have more negative camber adders, the strut tops and the Club Sport S spindles as well. They both give me negative camber. So without those, obviously it's going to be less. But it'll be around where you're going to want to be. You know, somewhere around the 2.5, 2 to 2.5. I would expect with everything else standard. So to summarize, like, that's my, I guess, review of both those parts of the Verkline arms. So great product. They're amazing. They do everything that is described that they would do. But personally, for me, and the way I use the car, which is like, I don't daily it, like I don't commute in it, but I do short trips in it every day, like school runs and to the gym. So, you know, and so I'm using the car, I would say, a lot, and I wasn't enjoying the car as much as I would like to. You know, it should be, I always say this, it should be special every time you get in your car. If you're not, why do you own it? Just go drive a Camry or something, or whatever the equivalent boring car is in your country. It'll be a Camry because Camrys are everywhere. So that's it. If you want to go hard on the track and you don't care about your daily driving experience, go Verkline. You will not be disappointed. They are amazing. Pricey, but amazing. For everyone else, TTS arms. They are the best. And look, I've had almost all of them except Super Pro arms. I've had Verkline, I've had stock with Club Sport S, bushes, Verkline, Verkline, TTS. TTS is the best. Go for it. That's it. Short video. I'm on my way to the track now. 3rd track day in 7 days. So getting back into it for 2022. That's it. As always, have fun in your cars and keep it on the black stuff.